So and then after that, it's just kind of, yeah, just day-to-day stuff, because I mean, as you may already know, I go to Brazil a lot. Like every 2 months I'm there. I'm like there at least like half the year, and every trip I make, I pick up something new, either like something slang, or just like cultural, or like different areas of the country have different sayings, and yeah, so I'm like always learning something new. And just like anyone who in your own native language like English, I mean, you don't know all the slang, and there's always new slang coming out every day. It's just think that adults tend to make it more complicated, like learning a new language, just like think too much, and children seem to have a way easier time learning a new language, because like you could have like a parent, two parents, one speaks Spanish, one English, or Portuguese and English, whatever. And the kid will like learn both right away. So it's like, are kids more intelligent than us? I couldn't tell you that. And it's like, how do they learn so fast? And how do they learn various languages at the same time? And so I just think that you have to stop thinking about language learning in the more traditional way of learning. That never worked for me. Going to classes, like, you learn a lot of vocabulary, and then when it's time to go and talk to someone in the language that you learned, you're really struggling to get the words out, aren't you? At least that's the experience that I've had learning at like Spanish, for example, in high school. And I just think you just gotta do just like the kid, it's just like they just like how they learn language for the first time. Like, for example, when they first learn English, they're not thinking about different things. They pick up the thing, they have like a camera, and they don't have any. They just like see that there's a camera here, and they see the object, they touch it, and it's just like this learn, it's like camera. They're not thinking of another language and then trying to like associate it with just the words. They just see the object, feel the object, and bam, they just like know it right away. So it's just how I think a better way to do it is just to have like an idea, and then you just like speak in the language. It's kind of hard to explain, but I just think that's why I really liked using Rosetta Stone, because it kind of did that same concept where they didn't have so for example, like when I was doing Portuguese, like they didn't have any English in there. It's just they taught you all the areas of language, and it's just like words in Portuguese, and they spoke in Portuguese, and you just see the images and you just associate with the language. And I felt like it was kind of like a more natural way to learn, and it was just like kind of almost similar to like when you're first learning your first language. But like as an adult, I mean, maybe it'd be good to, if you haven't studied like a language like Spanish, or I mean, depending on what your target language is, but if it's like a Romance or a Latin language, or something like similar to English, I mean, it might make sense to maybe like study first like a little bit of the structure of the language you're learning, and then once you kind of understand how it goes, then maybe like go back and try to just like learn maybe like the main verbs, and some, just kind of like just go after like what's being used the most, because I mean the language is so vast, there's so many words, so many verbs. But I mean, like everyday speech, you're only using like so many verbs. Like, I mean, I think like on a daily basis, I mean, using like the same like 10 verbs, like to be, and to make, and to see, and to speak, and to walk, run, like stuff like that. Like there's a lot of these like verbs that you use like all the time. So just try to learn, like the 80-20 principle, try to learn, the 20% that's used like all the time, and then from there, like as the time goes on, then you just like learn more. So yeah, so like I said, I just prefer that colloquial speech. I don't need to write formal and stuff like that. So